our first full year, Jason and I did close to 900,000 in annual premium volume together. And
hold on a minute. Hold on. Stop. You got to stop. What did you just say?
It was close to 900,000, mostly life premium, but a good chunk of annuities on top of that.
With the two of you, with a team or just with the two of you?
We had a team too, but those were our personal production numbers.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. And we have a treat in store for you today. All the way from Madison, Wisconsin, we have rock stars. We have some powerhouse people in the room. And these people are married to each other. They actually love each other, I think. From all my conversations, at least I've figured that out. But they're superstars in this business. And I'm excited today to welcome none other than Cindy Kylie Craig and Jason Craig to the podcast. Welcome to the Life Insurance Academy podcast. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're doing great.
We're great. Thanks for having us on here.
Hey, man, it is a pleasure to have you on. It has been a pleasure getting to know you guys, and it's been a pleasure getting to know your story. So tell the listeners a little bit about you. I don't care who goes first or how you're going to, play this back and forth, but we need to know a little bit about you and your family, where you're from, that sort of thing. And then I'm going to jump into how you got in the business.
Okay.
We started insurance on you.
Okay. So Jason and I, we've been together for almost 7 years, and we have 3 children and a little Winston dog, little Frenchie, who we very much love. But we have a combined family, and we've been, just very happy together. And he knew me when I was at my first insurance job. And I was a financial advisor at one of the bigger companies. And I had been working there.
How long ago was that?
That was 2014. And we met in 2016. We dated for a while, and he met me. We started dating. He came to my apartment on the lake, and I had a Mercedes at the time, and I was going bankrupt. So I sure had him fooled, but I got him. I had worked at a company where I did very well. I had a wonderful mentor there, but their lead strategy system was doing having you bring in 200 of your friends and family, a list of them. And I brought in 2,000 and made well over 6 figures in my first year. And having been a former registered nurse, I thought I hit a home run. I thought this is exactly where I want to be and what I want to do. And when my list of names ran dry, so did my business. And I went from making over 6 figures to almost 6 figures in debt, and swore off the insurance industry. I was, I never wanted to work in the industry again. I thought it was awful. I didn't like the culture of the company I was at. And I found my way to another IMO. And it was my first time working in a company where they had a lead source. And
so you had no leads previously. It was all warm market. Your own Power 100, in your case, your Power 2000 or whatever, how many you said you did. And so now you're moving to an organization that has got some lead options.
Yes.
Cool.
But I mean, I was so broke after I left that first company. I would go on Craigslist, and I was finding random jobs to weed people's gardens in 100-degree weather. I could never be a landscaper. I thought it was absolutely awful, but I would pull up, for $20 an hour and weed people's gardens. I started cleaning various jobs, and then I ended up finding this ad, and I thought, sell insurance to people who want to buy it. And I had been very successful in sales prior to getting into insurance. So I thought, well, this sounds too good to be true. And in my first week at that company, I did 14,000 AP my first week. And I thought, well, this is great. I loved it. At that company, we really loved the people. We had so much fun. We had friends. Our friend, like everyone we met just became a friend. It was wonderful. And that's when Jason left corporate America. And why don't you tell him about that?
Yeah, so I was working a corporate job in IT. Say what you will about it, but I never had any fun stories about it, like an exciting day at the office. And meanwhile, Cindy's out, meeting fun people and, helping families and doing all that. So when I left there, I decided to join her at that IMO, and we did that together for a while from that point.
Yep. And it was a real struggle for us because Jason is not a natural salesperson. And I was not a good mentor for him. He's his personality type, and I think why we do so well together and we're so in love, and is that we're very different. And I was trying to teach Jason my style of the in-home, and he struggled. He had some really good months there, but mostly it was, he's so detail oriented and whatnot that we were looking for him to go back to work. And it just wasn't working. And we were building teams and they were dissolving. We were building teams and they would dissolve. So eventually I found my way to another IMO. This IMO I had heard about. I knew about it for years. It had high compensation. And, we explored our opportunity. I asked Jason, I said, hey, Jason, I'm doing really well here. I want to stay here. I don't want to mess up anything this good, except for we weren't very profitable. And I said, would you please go and check out this other company and see maybe that you can get started there, work with them. And he did. And when he was doing some of the trainings, which I thought were pretty good, it was better than some of the trainings I had at the previous IMO. I was in a different room, and I was calculating as I was like doing my Zoom meetings, because it was COVID and we were just figuring out how to do Zoom meetings, and that was difficult. But I would hear some of the trainings he was doing, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I never thought about that, and they had just like a different philosophy on some stuff. Some of it was similar. And I started doing the calculation. Oh, if I would have written this policy over there, I would have made, considerably more money. And I did that a few times. And I decided, all right, what do you think if I just take the leap with you?
Yeah. So we had a little funny period where in the same household, we're working at two different IMOs, and of course doing the exact same work, selling the same policies, and at different comp levels, because we were at, a lower comp IMO and a higher comp IMO.
Sure. So for you, once you landed there, did you realize all the value was in the compensation, or what were you figuring out as you moved along here? It sounded like you were trying to navigate your way into profitability from that first experience where you made a lot of money and then almost went bankrupt. You're trying to figure out your way back to profitability. What were you searching for ultimately, and did you find it?
Yeah. Well, I was recently talking to someone else who was looking for a new IMO to work at where it might be higher comp. And I said, it's kind of like a sugar rush. Like, it's going to feel really good when you jump over. And it does, but that only lasts for so long. Ultimately, that's not the only thing you're going to get out of a place to work. You've got to have great people to work with, and, structure and support and good leads and everything. But, when you do make the jump to higher comp, it's like, whoa, it's like a sugar rush.
Yeah. We were just looking for higher comp. We had all the culture. We loved the culture of our prior IMO. I won a lot of awards and a lot of vacations at that company. And as we often spoke about, we couldn't afford to go on the vacations we wanted to with the people we wanted to, just because it was so top heavy on the compensation for the company itself. We were profitable, but we, at the end of the year, we net like $30,000. And I'm like, this is pretty darn hard work for $30,000. So when we got there, we kind of took some time off, and then for a few months, and just let our leads start coming in. And we had well, we were there for about a year and a half or so, but our first full year, Jason and I did close to 900,000 in annual premium volume together. We were just, purchasing a lot of leads. And
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Stop. You got to stop. What did you just say?
It was close to 900,000, mostly life premium, but a good chunk of annuities on top of that too.
With the two of you, with a team, or just with the two of you?
We had a team too, but those were our personal production numbers.
Your personal production numbers, 800 plus thousand, almost 900,000 in AP between the two of you in your first full year. Was that 2021? I guess 2021 maybe?
Right.
Yeah, 2021. So, wow, like you went from like making 100 grand in your first venture into, making your own list of 2,000, according to you guys. And then you transitioned. You were having success, but weren't finding the profitability. Was there any big changes? Were there leads different? Was something clicked obviously for you guys for that to kick into gear? What happened? Because our listeners are going to want to know. They just don't want to know the number. They want to know how you get to the number. What was different? Was there anything different?
Well, I would say that some things occurred that made us kind of disappointed in working with that company. So we stopped recruiting. People naturally came to us. So we're just like, we're not going to recruit. We're not happy with what happened. We're just going to focus on writing as much business
Personal
as
sales.
we possibly can. And we no, the leads aren't any different. A mortgage lead is a mortgage lead is a mortgage lead. There is a difference between an age mortgage lead and a brand new mortgage lead, but we were in a position where we're financially able to just purchase new mortgage leads. And that makes a difference, right? I mean, it's different working certain lead types. And we just made a commitment to each other. There were some days we were working all weekend long and on the road. There were other days when we were just on Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting. And we just, we wanted to see how much production we could do. And, pretty much knocked it out of the water or out of the ballpark.
I think that that commitment to each other was a big one, especially on my side. Being newer to the industry, I think it'd be fair to say there was a period where I was just going through my appointments every week and like seeing what happened. And at some point we had a conversation about, having some more accountability and having some tracking, putting some specific numbers down that we're looking to hit on a weekly basis. And I distinctly remember a conversation where Cindy said to me, Jason, you should just be doing 10,000 a week. I said, that's a nice round number. That's going to be at the top of my head forever now. Everything's going to kind of pivot on that as far as, hitting that goal. If we do, it's high fives. If we don't, it's kind of a diagnosis at the end of the week. Was there not enough leads? Did you, not set appointments? What didn't, work to get to that number? But having that benchmark every week, I think really drove us to getting, a year-long total that we felt really good about.
Wow. So, I mean, those are some massive numbers. That, not everybody's coming out of the gate doing, yes, there was two of you. Were you using appointment setters? Let's talk a little bit about how you got to this, number, because everybody who listens to the podcast, they want to know what the secrets are. They're listening. So for you guys that are listening right now, here's where we're getting ready to drop some secrets on how to go out and do $900,000 in personal production. If you got a partner, if you got a spouse, you're going to learn how to do it in the next 10 minutes. We're going to drop these nuggets on you. So are you guys ready to share some of those secrets of what you did?
Sure.
So one of the things that I prefaced before we talked, I'm just committed to reading a new book. That new book is Brendan Burchard's High Performance Habits. It's been highly recommended to me. I read a few chapters, over the past few months, but I'm committed now to get into and digest the whole book. And so one of the things that I talked to you guys about, I'm like, what people want to know are what are the habits of high producers? What are the habits of top producers? What's the mindset of a top producer? How do they structure their day? How do they feel about leads? How do they feel about investing in their business? How do they feel about their work process? And so those are some of the things that I want to know about that I'm hoping you guys can shed some light on for our listeners today. is first of all, you guys said something that was important, and it was a mindset thing. You guys made a commitment to each other that you were going to do as much personal production as possible. You made a commitment of accountability to each other that 10,000 was going to be the benchmark. And then you work toward that instead of just seeing what happens, because we all know what happens when you just go and see what happens, because it doesn't really matter if it happens or not if you're just out there seeing what happens, right? But when you've got a benchmark, now you got something that you're fighting for. So that was kind of the impetus to get things started. But what were your daily habits what did your daily habits look like? And what did your structure of appointments? Were you face to face? Were you over the phone? Was it both? Were you both running independently of each other? Were you doing combinations? What did that look like?
I think the biggest one is what you just touched on, Roger, which is as a weekly board that a daily habit is having that number and having, a place where you're tracking that. And if you're working someplace where it's not a weekly, report in kind of a milestone, to do that for yourself, because that was always the finish line we were driving toward. Like every Wednesday night, what's the number going to be? And I'm really hoping I'm going to say something big, to her and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You tell about daily habits a little bit?
So, yeah, I mean, there was a point where we were going to the gym and working out with a personal trainer. Was that 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
What time was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was between 5 and 6. So we were getting up real early, taking care of our bodies, it started from there, and reading some books. And there was a point where we did 75 hard. We made it 44 days before we got some sort of bug that took us out for about 2 weeks. But focusing on health and just good habits. And initially we were appointment setting ourselves. And then I became the appointment setter for both of us. Jason, I could say, really struggled with appointment setting. He's such a details guy. He would get the lead, look, where can I put them, and kind of do all that, and then call them and they wouldn't pick up, right? So he really struggled with that. So eventually we had a coach that was working with us, and she had recommended getting an appointment setter. And we were like, no, we had tried so many appointment setters from like halfway across the world, and we were using some programs for that and whatnot, and we were never successful. And she had turned us on to this. Am I allowed to say the company's name?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
maybe we can get some more business.
Yeah, overpass.com. And we had we were able to hire this gal from Belize, and she is absolutely incredible human being. She treats our business like it's her own business. She went the extra step to learn everything, but we also tried to compensate her. I think what happens a lot of times is people say, oh, well, you're in a different country, or you're in the Philippines, so we're going to try and pay you $5, $6 an hour. And these people are working in the middle of the night. They don't feel appreciated. And they, a lot of times they don't work out. So we put a hourly bonus or an hourly wage in place, but we also said for every appointment that kept, she would get an additional $10. And we were sometimes running like 60 appointments per week. We were doing some pretty hefty bonuses. And but for Christmas, we sent her a big bonus on Christmas, like $1,000. Just recently, like we sent her another bonus, but really making sure she feels appreciated and valued, because we appreciate her and we value her more. So when things really took off for us was when we found an appointment setter. We did very well before.
Does she just do appointments? Is that all she does?
She just does appointments. Yep.
And she's in the same time zone. Belize is it in the same time zone or 1 or 2 hours different?
Yeah, same time zone.
Yep.
Same time zone. Okay.
Yeah. And their language is English, right? And so now we have another girl. She's from the Virgin Islands. She has excellent English. It's the same time zone. It's just buy more leads, train your people well, pay them well, love them up. And, we went to Belize to see her and took her and her family for a few days on a vacation and spent time with her, because that's how much like she means to us. I mean,
Yeah.
We can't wait.
Well,
till
anybody
someday
who helps you do
we're wealthy.
$900,000 is probably a pretty valuable asset.
Yeah. she
Right?
is.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
what's your
she's doing-
process look like? Go ahead.
I was saying, she's really doing two things. She's kind of filling a gap in my skill set that I'm not great at. And then just time wise, I mean, if someone is helping you schedule your appointments, that's all the more time you have, to run appointments for people on your team.
Sure.
So,
So are you running face-to-face? Are they telesales? Are they Zoom? Tell me about that, because you obviously went through a transition during the pandemic, but now we're on the other side of that. What does that look like? What does it look like when you're in full gear running, you said up to 60 appointments a week? What does that look like between the both of you?
yeah, so we're kind of in like a hybrid mode at this point. We've kind of bounced around with the, pandemic and everything. But at this point, we feel like the best thing is for one of us to go knock on someone's door, sit down with them and help them out. So our plan A as we get our list of leads is like, where can we send Jason? Or sometimes where can we send Cindy? And then we try to book that day up. And then because we work together, we have a lot of flexibility. It's one of the big perks of being in this business with, your spouse or somebody else you're really close to. The people don't fit on my calendar when I'm going there tomorrow. We schedule them to see Cindy over Zoom the next day or the same day.
Okay.
So yeah, we do a hybrid. Usually plan A is for one of us to go and see them in person. And then, we Zoom everybody whose schedule doesn't fit or if they're just, too far away.
So are you running appointments? Are you running appointments only in Wisconsin, or are you running outside of where are you? Where multi-state? What does that look like?
We mostly work Wisconsin. So we bought up the entire state of Wisconsin at the other company as far as their leads. When we didn't do what we weren't doing in home, or we were doing Zoom when we left the IMO, the first IMO, and we came
Sure.
over, it was very much frowned upon to do Zoom appointments. And so they said, do that. But eventually we moved to that. And then we just did a hybrid of both of those. But we get people from all the way up north, which would be 6-7 hours away. But it's so wonderful because those are underserved areas. Like, people say what they want. Like I have guys on my team. They're like, I want to work in Hawaii because those are big ticket. I'm like, I make a lot of small sales. I help like a lot of families that are factory workers and whatnot, and they need insurance just as much as anyone else. And they're underserved. So everybody wants to work in Hawaii. I want to work in up north Wisconsin or places like that. And we found that the people, we love traveling. There's a county up north that we like to travel to, but there's a couple counties, and we'll go up there and we'll spend a night up there and hit a few counties and do in-home appointments. But the people are very friendly. They don't have a lot going on, so they're usually home, and they want insurance. So, when they know you care, and they trust you, they protect their families. So we really like that area.
So are you running, when you say you're running leads, you bought up the whole state of Wisconsin, are you talking about direct mail?
Direct mail.
Okay, direct mail. And so you have a regular lead flow coming in, and all those go to your appointment setter from Belize. I'm assuming you're running it all through some kind of digital CRM or spreadsheets, that sort of thing. She sets all the appointments, you run them. The ones that one of you don't get, they go on the other one's calendar, and you just keep retiring leads and making sales.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
We work those leads.
You work 7 days a week, 15 hours a day.
No, not every day. We stopped working. There was a big push at our last IMO. The culture was, work as much as you possibly can, and forego time with your family and whatnot to do this and push hard. And then, so there was a point where we were doing that. And I told Jason, I said, I'm not happy doing this. So we stopped working Sundays. So we just made Sundays is just our day. And then eventually we don't work. Well, I say we don't work Saturdays or Sundays, but now we're going to work this Saturday, but we're going to have our team in here and we're doing role play training. So we work occasionally Saturdays like that. Maybe Jason does a run day. But working weekends is good, but we don't necessarily have to do that anymore, which is a real blessing.
But you did when you were doing those big numbers, you were working on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays also. Yeah. How much could someone do if you're a new agent coming in and you have new agents that are contracting and working with you now? If you have a new agent that's coming in that has a level of confidence and has a good work ethic, because obviously those are two things that we look for when we partner with somebody. Do you have a level of confidence, belief in yourself that you may not know all the answers, but at least you can get connected to a community where you feel supported so you can get the answers, number one. But number two, do you have a good work ethic so you're going to show up every day and actually go to work and try to see people? If you find someone like that, what can someone realistically expect to make in their first year in the business? What do you think?
I mean,
No,
if this person is like doing all the work, 6 figures.
I told you. Yeah, they've got a good work ethic and they've got a good level of self-confidence, but they're staying connected to you to get the answers.
Yeah.
They don't
6
know anything
figures.
about the business. What can they expect to make?
If they buy leads, 6 figures.
Yeah.
If they
6
don't buy
figures.
leads, right.
I mean, I would say 200 to 300,000 is very realistic for somebody who's really putting in the work and making the lead investment and getting all the help they need.
At a minimum,
Now-
6 figures if they're doing the work.
Now, is that a net number or is that the number before lead and marketing costs?
I would say that's the net number.
The net number.
But
So
there is
when
a
you're
lead cost too, yeah.
when you're investing in leads, let's be transparent here because people want to know, how much do you guys invest for the two of you in leads on a weekly basis? Can I ask you that question?
Yeah,
Of course.
$3,000 to $5,000. What did we spend?
Personally, between the two of
Between
you.
the two of
So
us.
somewhere
Yeah, 3 to
between
5.
so between 1,500 and 2,500 each is what you're investing in leads, and you're expecting a return of a minimum of $10,000 in annual premium on that. Is that the goal? That's the goal, right?
Yeah, that's
So like when people are on this call and they're investing $2,000 a week on marketing, on mail. I just want to make 100,000. These guys are spending 100,000. What is that mindset that it takes for you to say, I am confident enough in this industry, in this business, for you to say it's okay that I invest, $3,000 to $4,000 or $2,500 at least for an individual. For me, $2,000 to $2,500 a week, which is $10,000 a month. Somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000 a month. It's clearly you're spending 6 figures just for marketing. Like that, for people getting into the industry for the first time, that is a huge deal. That's a huge deal. How do you get somebody in a place where they believe that that's okay for them to do that? And is that wise? Like, are you asking people to come in and drop 5K in that first 2-3 weeks to get started? Is that the only way to get started?
No, that's not the only way to get started. In fact, most people don't, and neither did we. So when I left that first insurance company where I was working as a financial advisor, I was so broke. I had to borrow $350 from Jason to buy aged mortgage leads. And, I turned that into 14,000 AP. So
Okay.
I saw the return on investment there. But we would say it's really, and that was back in 2017. So I would say, the more money you can spend initially on leads, the better. But maybe it's best for people to start off on older leads to work out the kinks of things, unless they're really, gung-ho about the business. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah,
It's interesting. You had a Mercedes. You lured him in with your Mercedes, and then you borrowed $350 from him to go sell leads.
I was so
Lost the
duped.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
You were totally duped. It's like you thought you were getting a sugar mama, and all of a sudden you got someone
Now I'm
asking.
trying to make him my sugar daddy.
Wow, the tables have turned.
I'm like, what I would be really good at? Being a sugar baby.
But
Well, it
I
all
was
worked
just
out for
called
the
a
best.
newer agent on our team this week. He was looking at making his first lead buy and said, that's the best money you're ever going to spend. I mean, that's better than like putting money in a 401k, like Bitcoin, going to the Vegas, like just buy leads.
Why is it to you guys? Why is that such an easy decision? Because some people are still listening and they can't even. As soon as you said 2,500 a week each, you just lost them. Like their mind blew out. Half their brain is on the ground, and they're going, "Oh, I don't know if I could ever do that." And they're shutting down from the conversation because their brain can't get there. What makes you so confident and it rolls off so easily, like it's the best money you'll ever spend? And can I ask you for a clarification? Would you say that it's spending money, or would you say it's investing money?
Investing for sure.
Investing,
Yeah.
because you expect a return back. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's not the same as spending money on a vacation. It's not the same as spending money on your house or on your car. You're actually investing in your business.
Mhm. Well,
Why is
I
it
think
so easy for you? Why is it so easy for you guys?
because we know we've had good mentors in our profession, and we know how to help families. And when we know the more that we purchase, the more families we can help, right? So it's just a numbers game. So when back in the day when I turned $350 into, I think I netted like 6 or 7 or something after there's some chargebacks and I wrote the wrong policy. It was my first week in the business. But I was like, whoa, that was from $350 on age leads. But guess what? I don't particularly like appointment setting. Like we do it. So like we moved from that to newer leads because less time on the phone, more time in the field at that point. And the return on investment. I mean, if you see, what we grossed last year, it makes sense because it was a lot when you work for a company that has high compensation. And people tell me like, they buy cheap leads, or there's other companies with less expensive leads, and it doesn't really matter about the lead cost. As long as the lead is good and the person on the other side of the lead wants to buy, and they don't all buy, right? And you have to understand that's part of it. But the return on investment is pretty darn great. I mean, even on the small side of stuff, if you buy a lead that's $75 and you go out there and you sell, maybe an accidental policy for, $400, you still made good money there. Better money than I made as a registered nurse. But if you sell maybe like a term policy or whole life, and you're selling something that's $1,200 a year, you're over 100% compensation. Now that's a pretty darn big return on investment. You only have to do that a few times to be profitable, right? So anything, we always say you only ever buy your first batch of leads. After you make your first purchase, then you just use some of the money that you've obtained from your sales to buy your next, right? So
you're reinvesting. It sounds like a video that I did about 2 or 3 months ago on our channel that says spend $1,500 one time and make $245 every year for the rest of your life. So for those of you who are watching, you can go back and pick up that other video. It talks about how to invest $1,500 one time to make $245 every year for the rest of your life. That's what they're talking about. Go back and listen to that video and listen to what they're saying right now, because you're actually just using the revenue that you generate from your business to reinvest. You just do the work. You do more work, but you only have to spend the money, invest the money once. Right. And if you do the work after that, it comes back to you. So guys, I could be on with you all day. We could roll with this all day. The content is so good. So you're building a team, right? You guys are building out an organization. And right now you have literally hundreds of people in the pipeline that are working with you, that are onboarding and training. What is your goal in this business? I think it's changed a little bit from that first year. What do you guys want to accomplish now? What are you trying to do? Where are you? How can people connect with you? That sort of thing.
We want to build a massive team and just help as many people into this business as possible. It's been life-changing for us and our family. We love it. And we feel that where we're at now at Impact Legacy Group, like we found our home. It has all the great culture of that first IMO with the high compensation of the other IMO, right? So we have everything where we're at, and just a whole team of people to help and get started. And we have years and years of knowledge, what works, what doesn't work. So I'd say that. Anything else to add to that?
No. I mean, I would add that, a lot of times when you start to build a team, people have, an income goal in mind. They think it could be a profitable, business enterprise. And that certainly got us going, way back. But once you have actual people, and you helped into the business and you're with them side by side, it becomes so much more about just helping, I want to help Josh. I want to help him. I want to help her. We were on a call just this morning about our agency, and the discussion was about profitability, and I almost had to remind myself that's part of the game, because you just start wanting to see the individual succeed. You're not thinking about what else it's doing for yourself or anybody else in the organization.
Yeah.
So people can reach us at Cindy@KylieCraigAgency.com. That's CINDY at KILEYCRAIG agency.com, or you can just call me at 608-332-2665. If you're feeling like where you're at isn't home for you, come join our team. If you're a good cultural fit, we'll bring you aboard, and we'll show you to do for yourself and your family what we've been able to do for ourselves and our family. And we're just really grateful, Roger. We're so happy to be here with you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Well, we're excited to have you. I'm a little bit biased towards that organization that you're partnering with. A little biased because I'm a part of that. So, but this podcast started as a value add to everybody in the industry. And here's what I will say to you guys. If you're in the business, and you're getting started and you're connected to an organization, I will say this: it's really important for you to get connected to good people who see something in you bigger than what you see for yourself. People who have fruit on the tree, who know how to help you get to where you want to go, and people that are going to stay with you to help you achieve those goals. And if you can find those good people in your organization, that is worth its weight in gold. And there are so many successful people in this industry. We are in a big, wonderful, amazing industry of life insurance sales. I would have never dreamed at this point in my life, a long time ago, that I would have been in this career. But I can't imagine doing anything else now. I can't really imagine doing anything else, because I love doing what I do. I love teaching people how to change their lives with this industry. I love being able to profile people like Jason and Cindy to help them with their cause, because they're making a difference in their family's life, and they're making a difference to the people around them. And if you're watching for the first time, or maybe you're a new listener, or maybe you're a longtime listener, this industry can change your life. But more importantly, it can impact the lives of the people around you, and you can be a difference maker and a change maker in their lives. And to me, I believe that's what it's all about. My goal is to create an impact on this industry, to do some really cool things, and to leave a legacy for the people coming behind me. And so I want to go back to Jason and Cindy and say thank you so much for joining us today to share a little bit of insight. Can't wait to get you live in studio when we're together, and we can break this down some more. And maybe we can get some training videos that people can get access to from your systems and your processes. I'm sure there'll be probably people lining up for that. In fact, if you'd like to get access to some training videos or some resources from the Craigs to maybe duplicate just a little bit of what they've done, why don't you leave us a comment? You can reach out on any of our socials at Life Insurance Academy. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find us anywhere, or you can reach me at Roger at lifeinsuranceacademy.org. Leave a message for us there, and we'll be glad to help you out. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. Keep doing great things. I can't wait for you to break that $1 million threshold. You're probably going to be on track for it very soon, but I'm more excited about the other people that you help break their income ceiling, what they thought was possible for them, and create a life that they never ever dreamed of because of their relationship with you. So thank you so much. Remember, everybody, you're a difference maker. We challenge you to go be one. Thank you for joining this episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. We'll see you next time.